Yes, it is true. I do have my first guest joining me today. I'm going to introduce you in just a moment. But before we get to that point, I want to just kind of give you some backstory on this, how I met this individual slash guest, let's just call it that way. So I was introduced to crystals recently by my good friend Jenny Stinson, and I've talked about Jenny and her work at the Peace Room here in Boise before. You know, Jenny is a Reiki master and also deeply knowledgeable about crystals, right? And she recently gave this, put on this class, Basic Crystal Knowledge, and I attended that class. I was really happy that I did because I learned a lot. I haven't really been that like into crystals or gems or that kind of like those kind of modalities at all, really, which is kind of ironic because when I was younger, you know, my family has a history in geology and rock hounding and all those kind of things. And when I was younger, I used to go out on the desert in Utah with my aunts and uncles and family, and we would go hunting topaz and wonderstone and all sorts of stuff, you know, out there on the desert. And it was just a really cool experience. And, you know, and I have that stuff still, but I never really kind of like got into it myself. And until this, you know, day, you know, I don't really have a lot of crystals. I don't use their, you know, I don't work with crystals. I don't work with gemstones like that. But I got to tell you, going to and attending Jenny's class was a real eye-opener and a real game changer, and that is where I was introduced to the Ametrine, and that is the first guest on the Go series here. So what Jenny did is, you know, we come in there to the class, and Jenny is a super awesome teacher and knowledge, you know, sharer, and that's her background, in fact, and so that makes her a really awesome like healer and a person to inspire and share knowledge. So, you know, we come into the class there, and she's got all these crystals laid out there on this little table. There might have been probably 12 or 16 different types of crystals. You know, they're in rows, and there are 3 or 4 of each type on this little table, right? She had, like I say, 12 or 16 types of crystals. And she said, you know, pick the crystal that resonates the most with you, and you know, find your crystal, right? Your crystal wants you, you want your crystal, find your crystal. And so let's get on the go here before I finish the rest of this story. But just know this Ametrine is the first guest. So let's get moving here as we head to our destination, and then I'll read you a little bit about what Ametrine is as we go forward. So we go into the room there, and I'm looking at the tray of crystals, and there's some cool crystals on that tray. Let me tell you, they're all shapes and colors. You know, you have blue ones, green ones, this really deep, like kind of like not fluorescent, but like a deep, powerful green stone was on this table. And so I'm looking at the crystals, and of course, you know me, I'm never really worked with crystals that much, and I'm trying to, you know, I'm tuning in to which crystal I want, which crystal wants me, that kind of a thing. And I'm looking at these, and I'm kind of touching them and looking at them, and I really was close. I wish I knew the name, remembered the name of that green one. I could probably find it out, but I was really close to picking up that green stone. It had a really powerful feel to it, right? It was a deep green, kind of like emerald green kind of style. And it had a great kind of energy vibe going on there, and I was really close to that one. Then I saw this Ametrine up in the corner. There were 3 pieces of this Ametrine, and I picked up one piece, and I was like, I really like the looks of this. I like this. I like the vibe this crystal's giving me here. Again, I'm playing the game, right? Again, having zero or next to none experience with crystals. And so I pick up the Ametrine and look at it, and I'm like, I really like this. All the other crystals, of all the crystals, this resonated with me. And so I chose that one. You know, I made the decision because there were a lot of cool crystals there. And So I pick up the Ametrine, and I really like the shape. I like the color. It's got a kind of a purplish, yellowish color, and I'll tell you about that in a moment. It's a combination of amethyst and citrine. That's what makes up the Ametrine. And so that was my crystal. And so for the evening, you know, we held onto the crystal. We learned more about it. She went around the room and introduced us to our crystals, talking about the properties and the characteristics of those crystals. It was just an amazing night, and a lot of knowledge, deep knowledge. You know, come to find out, crystals hold knowledge. They hold wisdom. They can help us access, you know, parts of our higher selves, wisdom that's inside of us that we aren't able to access. You know, incidentally, Janie's also the one who gave me the selenite rod that I made a little short video a couple months ago on Instagram and Facebook. But again, super informative class, and I learned a lot, and it really sparked my interest in, you know, crystals. We even talked about, you know, tuning up our chakras using different colored crystals and that are appropriate to that chakra, and how that can be beneficial to us. You know, the chakra are those spinning vortexes of energy, and when they get out of whack or don't spin in the right way, or stop spinning or slow down, right, that's when we have energy imbalances in our body, from what I was learning. And it was just a really awesome experience, and so I wanted to share that Ametrine with you and show you. I'll also put some pictures up on my social media at gmarkphillips.com, or excuse me, at gmarkphillips on Instagram, and share some of the close-ups of that Ametrine, because it really is a beautiful stone, and I love the shape. But I want to share this one last funny story with you. So at the end of the evening, I didn't know that we were supposed to take our stones with us, our crystals with us. Sorry, Ametrine, I didn't mean to call you a stone. I didn't know we were supposed to take our crystals with us. I thought they were for the evening, because I got there a little bit late, and so I didn't know that. So I'm walking out the door, and I say, you know what, Janie, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm going to get me some of that Ametrine. And she said, well, you need to take the Ametrine. That's your stone. Sorry, Ametrine, I keep calling you a stone. I'm like devaluing the crystal there. So I was leaving, and I was going to leave without my Ametrine, and she said, get your Ametrine, you know, that's your crystal. And so she goes back and gets a piece of Ametrine, and it was one of the three that was there when I chose the Ametrine, but it wasn't mine, as I later kind of felt it, and I held on to it, and I was like, yeah, no big deal. I got the Ametrine, and I'm moving forward. So I'm walking out of her house and down the street, and I had this kind of feeling inside of me that was like, you know, something doesn't feel right. And I kind of felt my Ametrine saying, what are you just going to leave without me, right? Well, this stone is not me, right? You're choosing the wrong stone. What's up with this? And so I went back, knocked on the door, and I said, you know, my stone, gosh, I'm going to get over this. My crystal is calling me. I guess I should take the crystal that I chose and that chose me. So she goes back and she says, yeah, duh, get the crystal that chose you, right? And so I get my Ametrine, walk out the door, and I'm like, okay, I'm really sorry about that I almost left you behind, but it won't happen again, right? So all was right with the world at the end of the night, but just a super awesome experience. And so don't be like me and kind of, you know, poo-poo crystals if you haven't gotten into crystals before, because there's some interesting stuff there, and some ways that can help us, you know, have a better experience and learn more about our lives in the world. So I just want to share that with you here and let you know that crystals can do some amazing things. I'm just started scratching the surface of myself. But let me just pull over here and read what Ametrine is. Like I said, it's the combination of amethyst and citrine, and I just want to share this with you here. Okay, so the qualities of amethysts are powerful and protective stone with high spiritual vibration, and it's a natural tranquilizer. Its serenity enhances higher states of consciousness and meditation, strong natural healing energy, supports sobriety and overcome addiction and blockages of all kinds, heightens meditation, turning mundane thoughts into tranquility and deeper understanding. It calms and synthesizes and aids neurosignals through the brain. That's awesome. It helps insomnia that is caused by an overactive mind and protects against recurring nightmares. That's some qualities. Oh, there's a few more back here. Hold on. Enhances memory and helps remember and understand dreams, facilitates visualization process, balances highs and lows, promoting emotional centering, spiritual stone that promotes love of the divine, and lastly, it opens intuition and enhances psychic gifts. And of course, the Ametrine is the combination of amethyst and citrine. I don't have a definition or some information on citrine, but you can probably look it up online. But again, let's find it here. It's a super, really pretty stone. And there it is one last time. My first guest on the go. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, click the like button down below and subscribe. Until next time, all the best, health, wealth, and success. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.